Yellowstone, not the most dangerous volcano. Campi Flegrei, Naples, Italy. The eruption could force mass evacuation. Now let's remember it's between Campi Flegrei is near Naples to the west, and Mount Vesuvius that erupted in 79 AD. This is 1779 eruption of Vesuvius. All these, Campi Flegrei and Vesuvius, are flanking Naples. And let's remember also, we still have Mount Etna of Italy still erupting, and we're going to see that on Volcano Discovery. What's involved there? This whole area is really, in the Mediterranean, is really active. We've had tremendously big earthquakes in the area of the Hellenic subduction zone of Greece. Very big earthquakes, over 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5. And that's been an area of volcanic activity, magma inflating that area since well over a year now. We've even had earthquakes on the 1st of January, 4.3 off Portugal, basically just west of Gibraltar. We've had earthquakes in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco. So the Mediterranean is being active. And I'm going to make a video on the 6.1 magnitude earthquake in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, of course, that shook all the Azores Islands, which are all volcanic as well. So it's not just the west coast of North America that's active. We still have these Italian volcanoes active, and also the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, as we know that area is spreading, that's active too. So it's not just Yellowstone, it's also Campi Flegrei, the Italian volcanoes that are very dangerous. A volcano in Italy, dubbed the most dangerous supervolcano on the planet. Supervolcano, as an expert has warned that even a small eruption would require mass evacuations. Campi Flegrei, it's marked as the most dangerous volcano in the world, and it's piping the likes of Yellowstone, and also known as the Phlegrean Fields. Campi Flegrei is Europe's only supervolcano, and it's located beneath Naples, as we see at the map. It's not far from Vesuvius. Its formation some 39,000 years ago saw lava and rocks thrown hundreds of kilometers away in what was the most violent eruption in the past 200,000 years in Europe. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box. And here we are again, Naples right in the middle of Campi Flegrei to the west and Mount Vesuvius to the east. And it's the most, from that they say, the most densely populated volcanic region in the world, with 3 million people living in the nearby city of Naples. Now we know a lot of people live in the area of volcanoes because the soil there is very fertile. Now, even a small eruption here could spark mass evacuations, according to one expert. Boris Bekne, volcanologist at Italy's National Institute of Geophysics and Volcanology, INGV, said an eruption at Campi Flegrei could match that of the Plinian eruptions. The Plinian eruption happened 79 AD, as we know, when Mount Vesuvius, Italy, engulfed the city of Pompeii, destroying all its inhabitants. Campi Flegrei could offer a similar eruption, according to geologist Bekne. And the volcanologist was comparing Campi Flegrei to Yellowstone when he said the former has the potential to cause even more devastation. And this is what he wrote on Twitter. Yellowstone, probably the most famous supervolcano, is not only overdue, but if it were to erupt again, it would very likely produce a relatively small eruption without a chance of having global consequences. Now, he's not talking of a super eruption here, obviously. Now, he says here the potential most dangerous volcano on the planet at this moment is not Yellowstone, but Campi Flegrei in Italy, which has 1/3 of Naples in it, plus several other towns totaling some 600,000 inhabitants. He says even a small eruption in Campi Flegrei would require timely and preferably orderly evacuations of hundreds of thousands of residents, a number due to swell into millions if the eruption develops into a Plinian-style event. But for all the talks of the likes of Yellowstone and Campi Flegrei being overdue, Benke said this is not the case. He says instead, volcanoes can show some signs of activity, but then die down without a trace of an eruption. He said volcanoes do not erupt when we believe they are overdue. Overdue is a human concept. Volcanoes erupt when there's magma capable of reaching the surface, and it's not always the case. Often magma stalls at some depths, losing gas, and cools and becomes uneruptible. He says when we know that there are quite a lot of failed eruptions, which are often marked by typical signs of unrest like seismic activity, gas emissions, ground deformation, that announces an eruption, but then doesn't take place. These are one of the main challenges in modern volcanology. He says supervolcanoes, the term that should be abolished, do not always produce gigantic super eruptions. Most of their activity, he says, consists of small to moderate scale eruptions, which would have a limited impact in a restricted area. This is by Sean Martin on Express UK. Let's go see Vesuvius and Etna as well. What's happening in those regions? So here we are, volcano discovery, Mount Vesuvius. Look at this, it's that beautiful near Naples, seen from the air, the remnant of the older Soma volcano, which collapsed in the eruption of 79 AD, Plinian eruption, clearly visible to the left of the new Cono Grande cone with its crater. And of course, all this underneath is all towns and villages. And this is the map of it, right there, Naples right there. Okay, and these are the latest, 13 days ago, magnitude 1.7, 1.8. This is Vesuvius right here. I can't see that, okay, sorry. Okay, 1.8 again. So it's quite active. Now, the typical eruption style, mainly explosive. Vesuvius has 4 typical types. Plinian, this is what we saw 79 AD in the Pompeii eruption. Extremely large explosive eruptions producing several tens of cubic kilometers of magma in a very short time. Then you have the subplinian explosive eruptions, such as what happened in 1631. They're similar in style but smaller. And then you have the Strombolian Volcanian eruptions. Several examples are 1631 to 1994 period, 1906 and 1944. Such eruptions produce local heavy tephra falls, small pyroclastic flows, as well as large, fine fountains and lava flows. In the smallest but most frequent type of activity observed at Vesuvius, persistent Strombolian to Hawaiian-style activity that prevailed during much of the period between 1631 and 1944. Activity is usually limited to the central crater, sometimes to flank vents. Lava flows and lava fountains have been frequently observed during such periods of activity. 1796, 1822, 1824. Look at all this, basically ongoing. And then we have, as Vesuvius, the artist's interpretation of 1779 eruption of Vesuvius. And as we know, Mount Etna is still ongoing. This is today's update. Strombolian activity, crater last night, and they're still ongoing. Activity from the crater did not develop into lava form fountaining, so this is still ongoing. Etna is still erupting. And just going back to this. Okay, these are the last week's earthquakes. They take them off. They don't keep them on the maps, and basically this is Seismo Berkeley. Basically they involve, they focus on United States earthquakes right here. Okay, this is a big one today, Nicaragua. So thank you for your support. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. Oh, what's this? Okay, that seems to be in, we'll look at that. That seems to be Mongolia, Taklamakan Desert. Okay, thank you for your support. Please leave your comments. Thank you.